Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your girl, Lauren Rei, right here with the Lauren Rei Live Show from What Our Eyes Radio. And we are back with another amazing episode. And my boy, Jay the Gentleman, is here. Jay, what's up?
Yo, what's up, Lauren? How you doing?
I'm good in this virtual matrix with...
Virtual insanity.
Yeah. You know, we try to, like, make it look cute with this whole, like, background situation. But what's this about?
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much. There's only so much they can do right now, I guess.
I know.
Voting, so.
I'd much rather everyone see this than my actual background, right?
I know, right? It's like dishes and like, like my kitchen. I don't want people to see that. This is way better.
I gotta figure something else out. So here you
Word
are,
up.
our backgrounds. But Jay, everything's been good?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's already almost mid-February. The snow wasn't cool because I had to like shovel for like an hour and a half just to get my car out.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much snow it was, but
it was a lot of snow.
It was a lot, but
for like 3 days it snowed. No one really wants to talk about it, but for 3 days it snowed, for sure.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy, but yeah, so it got my whole week out of whack a little bit, but everything's cool though. Staying busy, you know. Got some exciting stuff coming up with What Our Eyes, so you know, we're just plugging away.
So one thing we always talk about on the show, and we like to talk about on the show, is building generational wealth, right? And we do something for the legacy for, you know, hopefully one day our children or for our family or whatever. And we're always talking about the dinero. Is that correct?
Very true. So, or at least we try to help. We try to help, you know, guide people into that.
Right. Securing the bag is, you know, the term that everyone likes to use, right? So I thought that it would be a really good idea to have our next guest on, because she is helping people get to that step of securing their bag in a different way, right? And having a mentality about that, right? But She has an interesting story. This wasn't what she always was doing. She actually was the creator and producer of a web series that I was on called The Singles Rant. Yes, there are clips of it on YouTube, everyone. You can go check it out.
Well, I'm just gonna say before we get to that, you were like so PG compared to what everybody else was saying. I was like, yo, it was very entertaining.
I thought we would talk about that a little bit. It's so hilarious because I have a funny story about not my audition, but the first time that I taped. And it's hilarious, but we'll get into that in a second. Let's introduce our guest tonight. She is not only one of the sweetest people that I know. She's so inviting and she always is up for a conversation. She's also beautiful and very talented. Everyone, the CEO and founder of CHOQLIT, Miss Lana Adams, everyone.
What an intro. Whoa.
Wow. That was like, I didn't even pay her, y'all. Like, that was, thank you.
Y'all know I'm all about the Black girl magic, right? So I'm never going to let one of my sisters come on without it being an amazing intro, right?
You did that, hun. Thank you.
Of course. Lana, what is up? How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy. I'm blessed. I'm expecting a miracle every day. And I'm happy to be here with you guys. This is great. I was telling you before, like, I'm usually on the other side of the camera. So, like, I'm like, oh, it's okay. I have to, like, be quiet.
Yeah, now it's time to speak your mind.
Yeah, actually, that's a great transition to jump right into it, right? I met you on the other side of the camera. Talk a little bit about how you got your start.
Sure. So the short version, because nobody has time, is like you said, I produced a show called and created a show called The Singles Rant, which is what it sounds like. It's a show where single people come and rant about all different kinds of topics, from have you ever had a one-night stand, to what is it like to go meet the parents of somebody you're dating, to your sexual preferences, all kinds of things. It's always funny because people that know me are always like, who writes these questions? Because you're not, and I'm like, they're like, you must have a dark side because where these questions come from. But anyway, it's a really fun show. I had a co-founder, Lex Chappelle, back in 2015. We started in Atlanta. We did an Atlanta cast, a Philadelphia cast. And the last three seasons I produced myself. But yeah, it's fun. I do miss it. But I kind of reached a point where I wanted to do something that I felt was a little bit more impactful, and that's where CHOQLIT came along.
So before we move go on to chocolate, can we just talk about the singles rant just a little bit?
Of course.
So I found out about the singles rant, if I'm not mistaken, by another friend to the show, Bino French, the singer, right? So
Yes, Bino. Hey, Bino.
Yep, hey Bino. He posted it on his page. I forgot what season it was, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Let's see what this is about. And it was hilarious. Like that season that I watched was really, really funny. Also, another friend to the show in Water Ice, Rashad Lambert, was on as well. So a lot of familiar faces were on your show. And then it came about that you had put up, a posting for someone to be on the show. I was like, Jay, should I do this? He's like, of course you should do this. And I was like, all right, let's see what happens. I did a little video. People liked it. Then here we go. So I was super nervous. But when the time that we actually recorded for the actual show, I'm watching other people do the show. Answer the questions. And I'm like, oh, shit. Am I going to have to answer these questions? Where is the PG-13 version of these questions? And it's not like I never watched the show before. Like, I watched it. So I'm like, why all of a sudden are you shocked? And I was like, my mom is going to see this. Oh, my God. What am I going to say? What am I going to do?
It happens to the best of them.
And I just knew I was going to go in there. And I was like, I'm going to kill this John, right? And then the questions start coming. And I was like, wait a second.
Spicy.
Somebody said masturbation. Wait, someone said masturbation, and I was like, "Cut! Hold on."
This isn't what I signed up for in my contract.
You know what, Lauren? That happens to literally almost everybody. The only people, there's exceptions. Like if anybody's watched the show and knows Speed, he doesn't have that issue because he just vulgar all the time. But mostly and that's why I kind of went back and forth around, should I allow the next people that are coming on to tape watch other people? I like doing it because it just it adds to the conversation. You guys end up piggybacking over what somebody else says, so it works from a production standpoint. But I do from a talent standpoint. I'm always like, but that's why we do the screen test and that's why we do the auditions, because you want people to see how they are on camera and all those things. But I know it always is people have that moment. Like a lot of people got on camera and would be like, and I'm like, wait, where's the person that audition? What happened? And they're like, my girl gonna see. Like, I can't say that. So I'm like, wait, what? But yeah, it happened.
But I will say, I was happy how it turned out because I feel like there is a side for everyone, and I felt like my role was to be the girl who knows she really into some of this shit, but she not going to admit it on camera. So I was okay. I was okay with being that girl.
The lady in the streets. The lady in the streets.
I think you did a great job. I think you did a great job.
Because I had some really good,
that wink, wink.
Some really good sound bites. I was like, okay. I actually got a couple DMs that was like, nah, you ain't that innocent. You ain't that innocent. I was like, you want to know, don't you?
Well, that's great. I think you did a good job at keeping it PG, but it was also the little, people know.
But you know what though? I don't know if you're gonna do it again, but Lauren can't do that again.
Why not?
Yeah,
why not?
Listen, shut up.
She's not technically single no more, so yeah.
Here we go. Who said I needed that to be exposed on the show? But here we go. So wait a minute.
I was just saying I could tag in for her and be like, oh, okay, let me pick the baton from her, and I'll run with the baton, finish the race.
So being single is not a requirement to be on the show, because some of our cast members are in relationships. You just have been single, which we all have because we were not born in relationships, and have cool stories to share. So we don't discriminate. We've had married people on the show before.
Oh, that's cool. So, okay.
Yeah.
I told her to do one that was just 30s and just 30 single.
Yeah,
I'll definitely be on that one.
It's different, right?
It's so different.
It's so different.
It's different. I'll be on that one. I could be on that one.
But before Jay starts exposing more things about my love life, chocolate.
Exactly.
So you wanted to do something that was more impactful. So talk to me about how, or were you laying in bed one night and was like, look, I need to change the world a different way? Did you always have something like this in mind? How did chocolate become your new baby?
Cool. So Okay, I'm trying to remember every question, but I may ask you to revisit. But I've always been rooting for everybody Black. So anybody who's like followed me or knows me knows, like, even from college, even before college, I've always had created programs and created shows that elevate and tell our stories and humanize us, because we are human and we are great and excellent, and show Black excellence. So that's always been at my core. And I'm a content creator, so I love creating fun digital stuff. So the singles rant obviously was like easy for me to do, was fun for me to do. But honestly, this past summer when we had all the civil uprising, and it was like everybody had to really pick what team you were on. Like, are you going out here in these streets? What are you gonna do? But you know, in a revolution, there's a part for everybody to play. And not everybody is a protester. Not everybody is gonna go tear stuff up. Not everybody is gonna go. You know, everybody has a position to play. So I was like, what is mine? Like, I've done the protest. I will, you know, do it again. But I was just like, what can I do that I feel like years from now will make an impact? So as I've been on my personal wealth journey myself, and discovering how money works, and discovering all these things that I had no idea about, and unlearning a whole lot of things, I was like, oh my God, like there's not just financially, but just, I mean, attracting abundance in general. So on that journey, I was, you know, when you learn something and it affects you in such a way, you just want to share it with everybody.
Yeah.
So I felt like that, and I was like, okay, how can I use these themes to like connect to my people and help what I believe is helping my people? So that's kind of how it came about. And then I was like, okay, what do I want it to look like? And I just asked people, like, I want to create a platform to create generational wealth, to teach people about wealth based on what I'm learning and pulling on the resources from other people. So I did a bunch of surveys. I did you know, what would you like to see? What do you want to know about? And explaining to people that wealth is not just about financial wealth. It's about health. It's about relationships. There's 5 pillars of wealth. I think a lot of times people only think about finances, and they're like, and it almost becomes like a dirty word in some aspects where people are like, oh, wealth. They think that you're like glamorizing being rich, and things like that, which is a whole nother conversation I won't touch on right now.
Yeah.
But because, you know, the mentality that having things somehow makes you a bad person, or
Which is crazy.
So it is crazy. But and I think with our people especially, we do that, and it's like, so you're entitled to that. You're entitled to be great in every aspect of your life. You're entitled to abundance in every aspect of your life. But until you believe it here, you won't see it anywhere else. So CHOQLIT is built on that premise that wealth begins in your mind. A lot of times, like, and I'm sure y'all can relate, you'll have somebody that you know how to do this one thing, and somebody's like, hey, help me out, show me how to make some money, show me how to do this. But you might give them information, and they don't value information the same way they will value you giving them $300 for their product or to start up their business, right? But information is the real currency. And so that's the purpose of CHOQLIT, is like for me to try to explain. I don't know everything about investments and stocks and bonds, but what I do know is that wealth begins in your mind, and wealth is of the mind. So that's what our weekly newsletter, it's a free weekly newsletter, and every week you'll get a wealth hack. You'll get information to help you create a wealthy lifestyle. It could be a health tip. It could be, hey, try this with your family members, a relationship tip. It could be a financial tip. But yeah, I feel like I'm rambling, so I'm sorry now.
You're good. So changing your mindset, you've said that a lot throughout your answer. Do you feel like you always had that mindset? And if you didn't, how did you go about changing it?
Oh no, change the people that I was around. That was number one. So a lot of times I think we know what we want our life to look like, but when we look around our life, none of the things or people that are around us look like that. So that was the first thing I'm still doing. And sometimes that's difficult. Actually, that's always difficult, especially if, you know, your family and your friends are not aligned in certain ways. And that doesn't mean you have to throw people away. I think there's this new culture of like, I'm cutting people off, that whole thing. And that's like, no. It's just there's people that align with certain values, and you keep them in mind. You spend most of your time with them. And there's other spaces for other people to be, but you do have to primarily, for me, it's like you do have to kind of cold turkey focus on, like, is this adding value to my life? Is this person adding value? Is this job adding value to my life? Are these shows I'm watching on TV adding value to my life? Is this food I'm eating adding value to my life? So I started literally looking at that, and that was a journey I started maybe like 2 years ago. And then CHOQLIT, I really feel like kind of just came in as I started attracting all of those things. It was just like the next natural step to be like, okay, here's the platform for you to do that.
So those people that you need to be adding value to your life, like you just said, that you don't have to throw everybody away or cut everybody off. Do you just place them in a different bucket? Because I think that's really hard for people. I know for myself, I have some friends that just don't fit in or in the same lane as where that I'm going, right? But they're real cool to hang out with, right? So is it not you know how some people say, yeah, I gotta cut like you said, I gotta cut everybody, the cancel culture, right?
Yeah.
But is there still places for those people who are just not on the same journey that you're on spiritually or on your financials or your financial path or the chocolate path, I would say?
I think it's two answers to that question. So one, yes, I believe there are places, there's like a bucket for that, but I also believe that there's a time for that bucket to be opened. So in the beginning of your journey, I kind of do agree with that. You might have to cut them off. And that doesn't mean like stop answering the phone. That might mean have a conversation. Unfortunately, if people don't always understand or not always receptive to what you're actually saying, it might mean like, I might go ghost for like 3 months because I'm working on this thing over here and I'm working on my mind. And sometimes I got to be around people that reflect that. And that's not a diss to you. It's just what I'm doing. And the people that are going to be here are going to be here whether you like it or not. And that's just reason, season, lifetime, right? So you'll find that out, and it's going to be painful in some instances. So I do think, yes, there's a place for that. And I also think there's a time for that. So sometimes in the beginning, when you're trying to get it, you don't have space for that. You don't have space for anybody who's not aligned with your journey. It just is what it is. That's the difference between people who are successful and people who are not. And I can be emotional, sometimes. So that part of it as a woman too, and I'm not saying all women are emotional, but just speaking for myself, that's difficult because you want to be like, well, wait, I love you. But it's like, yeah, but do you love your freedom? Do you love your mind? Do you love yourself? You got to love yourself more. So,
earlier you mentioned how you learned a lot of things, but you also unlearned many things as well. What's one of the biggest things that you had to unlearn in your new journey?
So many things. I'll
say
you
can name all of them if you want.
Okay, I'll whatever comes to mind. I mean, number one, and you may hear this a lot, is like exchanging time for money is not the way to get wealthy. And I heard that before, but I didn't really fully understand it. And your time is more valuable than your money, because money you make, you lose, you make, you lose, you make. But time is gone. And that's what I had to be. And I'm learning to be so intentional about that, down to, like I was saying, the TV shows I watch, the podcasts I listen to, literally the conversations you have in the supermarket. Like, your time is so valuable. If we treated our time and we made our time as valuable as we do with money, I think a lot of things would be different. So for me, learning how to value time just as much as I value money. Money is water. It's all around you. You attract that. So I think to stop holding on to it and to have an abundant mindset and not a lack mindset, always looking for, you go into a store and you're like, what's the cheapest thing I can get? That's a poverty mindset. Because even though it's like, you don't want to live outside of your means, but you have to pay attention to those small things. Because it's in the small things when you're always looking at like the cheapest thing I can get, or, for the least amount of effort from me, because this is work. This journey is work. It's not going to be easy. But that's a major thing. And then paying attention to, I don't know if this is an unlearning, but one thing I have learned is paying attention to everything, like every single thing around you. Nothing happens by coincidence, nothing. Not a conversation that you have, not a thought that you have. Everything is by design. So recently, like I quit my full-time job recently. And then like 2 weeks later, oh, thank you. But like, listen, 2 weeks later, I picked up another job and I was like, wait, I think that was a test. I don't think I was supposed to do that. So I had to literally start and resign from, and it was supposed to be like just another little part-time thing. But then I'm like, you're exchanging your time for money again. You're stressed out again. Like, you just did the same thing. And I really believe it was like God being like, oh, you think you cute, you just quit your job. I'm gonna take this fruit right here and see. Because it was a company that I, admire. I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is on brand. But then I was like, no, you were supposed, you passed. You failed that test, baby. You were supposed to say no. So it was, luckily it was.
I know exactly what you mean, because like it's almost like when you never heard of something and then you see it all the time. It's like
Yes.
you quit your job. You're like, all right, cool. And then all these new opportunities
all
come.
these
You're like,
opportunities.
should I take it or no? Is this a test?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's like 3
I
years
get
ago.
it.
I was praying for this 3 years ago, and now
Right.
here it is.
Right.
But it's really,
Yep.
it's like God being like, do you trust me or not? You said you did. You did this thing to show, and then I tested you, and baby, like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
That's
so I
real.
had to step
That's
away. Yeah. So that was the unlearning, I guess. It's like,
real.
everything that glitters is not gold.
So, financial, like you said, wealth can be with your health. It can be financial. Is your mindset. So tell us or help, maybe give our audience a little bit of maybe some mantras or things that you live by on a daily basis that helps change your mindset for, let's just use financial wealth, right? You said you attract that. So what is something that you do to help you attract that mindset?
Yes, and I have to plug. I just came out with a new ebook, How to Attract Wealth.
I was getting to that.
You see what we were doing?
Lauren,
Sorry.
Stop playing with me. So, How to Attract Wealth: 100 Affirmations on Love, Freedom, Money, and Peace of Mind. My new ebook is on pre-sale right now.
Go get it.
Go get it, please. But so what helped me, and I this went with your question, I think earlier, Lauren, was affirmation. So I read a book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murray, which I recommend all the time to people. And that book changed my life. I read it in 2019, and it really taught me the power of your mind. So I started doing more research about subconscious mind, and all that is, I believe, is God talking to you. You can call it what you want to call it, but I believe it's just God talking to you. And we all hear ourselves. We hear, not voices now. If you're hearing voices, please speak to a specialist. But what I'm saying is, like, we have that inner voice inside of us that, is always talking to us. It's either a good thing or a not so good thing. So I started paying attention to my thoughts from that book. And then I started doing more research of the kinds of people who were in that space of subconscious mind and thinking and those kinds, and it's old white men. And I was like, we got to talk about this. So like, and it's not, I know a lot of times our people, everything is woo woo, we don't want to be too Erykah Badu, it's always like a stigma placed on those kinds of things. As soon as you take out you whip out a crystal and they like,
yeah, all right, Mother Earth, like we get
yeah. So and that's to each his or her own. But for me, learning about my mind and how powerful it is to attract what you want and to attract what you don't want, I was like, whoa, I had to start really being serious about the things that I'm thinking. And the things that you consume influence the things that you're thinking. So I know sometimes we think we can separate things, like, oh, I can watch this show on TV. This is not bothering me. But then you realize you just spent 2 hours on the phone gossiping about one of your friends. And it's like, wait, you know what I mean? It's the little things when you talk about changing your mindset and changing your thinking. So back to affirmations. One affirmation that I say a lot, it's a money affirmation, is money flows easily and freely to me in avalanches of abundance. I use my money for good. Part of that came from Subconscious Mind book, and then I kind of put my own spin on it. And there's a whole section for money affirmations in my ebook as well. But I mean, you can make anything an affirmation, honestly. But the thing is, it's not so much the words, it's the belief. So the words help you with the belief, but I mean, that the belief is it. That's the other part of it that I don't know that people talk about too much. So I do have different techniques that I use to help enforce the belief. One of them is just, okay.
No, I was just to say, like, talking about affirmations, one thing me and my really good friend / mentor do every year before the new year, we come up with a new mantra. And for that year, that's like the theme of what's going to happen within our lives, whether it's career or whatever. And it's usually a term of like action. It's like something like, whatever. And we've been doing this since like 2007, and not knowing what it was that we were doing. We were just like, oh, this sounds cool. We should do this like every year. And having been doing that for 13 years now,
wow.
it's little by little, like you start to see the progress in yourself, and things start to happen. And like with him and with myself, it's just I don't know if it's the universe, God, Allah, whatever, but but you also got to put the work in. You also got to put the work in, right? Like, it's not just saying it and then like, all right, la 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 la, like, no, you still got to work hard,
Yes. You believe it the way, and I always say it sounds so simple, but I'm like, the way you know, like, your name is your name, like, my name is Lana, that's the way you got to believe in what you're saying. Like, the same, you don't even think about, yeah, my name's Lana. Like, it has to be that simple. And that sounds, it goes over a lot of people's heads, but that's the thing. It's that belief. It's that whatever you got to do to believe it. And if it means that you stop eating a certain food, or I don't like to get too caught up on, like, because your journey is your journey. Whatever it is for you is what it is for you. I'm not telling you to be vegan. I'm not telling you, like, I'm just saying whatever it is for you that's going to help you to believe what you're saying. We always say, or the saying is like, I got to see it to believe it, but it's really the other way around. You got to believe it to see it, everything. So, yeah.
And I appreciate that, because I feel like we live in a culture where we follow everything that someone does based off of their success, right? So let's just use weight as an example, right? We see one girl use a waist trainer and it worked for them, and we all go out and buy the waist trainer, right? Or drink skinny tea or whatever the case might be. So I appreciate you saying, like, it has to be the way that you do it. Like, I'm not telling you to be vegan. I'm not telling you to, not date this type of person or whatever. It's how you take the affirmation and kind of like put your own twist onto it. So with that being said, if you don't mind sharing, is there something that you decided before you wrote this book? Well, okay, let me take that back. Why did you think that it was important for you to write this book, to give out this information? Because you could keep this information for yourself and be as successful as you want to be. So why wasn't it important for you to come out with this book?
I feel like I wish I had a better answer, but honestly, it works. Like, the answer is that it works, and I see it, and it blows my mind. Every day my mind is blown, because I now believe that I'm in since I started maybe 2 years ago with affirmations and believing them, I feel now so connected to God and so connected to the creator, I'll say, because we all have all different religions and things, but I feel so connected that I see it in the smallest things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what if we all can do it? Like, everybody can do it. But depending on how you were raised or your environment, negativity is often the thing we pay more attention to. But that shift of just changing that, it's literally just a shift. Like, I'm going to choose the highest thought. I don't always get it right. I'll be some days be like, whoa, like, that's not on my own stuff, where I have to be like, well, that wasn't a productive thought. And it's like, everything you think you're attracting everything to you that you say you don't want. Sometimes thinking about what you don't want too much is attracting more of what you don't want. So for me, it was just seeing the change in my life. Like, I wrote everything I wrote in my journal on New Year's Eve going into 2019 came true. Every single thing. I'm like, I can't, like, I'm like blown away by that. And I wasn't in a super spiritual, I was down when I wrote that stuff. But I just was like, it's got to happen, because I don't know, there's no other way. It has to happen. So I don't know how, and literally every single thing happens. So I just see that it works. And I just try to tell everybody, like, y'all, it's so easy. It's so easy.
It's always when you're like at your most desperate, or when you're most vulnerable. Yeah. That's when you really start to, like, kind of get a little bit more deep within yourself and be like, all right, what's really going on? How do I fix this? Let's start just baseline level. Let's just write it out. And then from there, you kind of just keep yourself accountable, and then you start seeing things happen, and you continue these, you hold yourself accountable, and you continue these things that you do. And, like you said, it just kind of just works. It just works itself out if you put the work
like you said. What you and your partner are doing, like, you're like, oh, you don't even know that you're doing it. The same way we typically don't know that we're doing it with negative things. So it's like that thought, like, I've seen it floating around on Instagram a lot, where instead of saying, like, I got to go to work, say I get to go to work, or just changing that one word change, it changes your mind. Words are so powerful. So that's the main reason I'm like, if we understood that words are spells, like, if you treated everything that comes out of your mouth as a spell that you're either casting on yourself or someone else, maybe you'd be more careful with what you're saying,
So everyone knows here at this show, I always am, like, super transparent. I use myself as an example. So when I reached out to you for this, to do this interview, I was like, hey girl, how you doing, whatever. And you were like, how are you? And I was like, you were like, I'm amazing. And I was like, you know what? I'm trying to get to amazing. I'm great, but I'm trying to get to amazing. You were like, nope, you're amazing. She cut me off like, right? Like before we could get any further, she was like, nope, I just said it. You're amazing. It's good. So for that person, like I'm going to use myself for an example, who has been on the edge about really jumping into doing a different endeavor. And just the thought process is it's not going to work. It's going to fail, or no one's going to care about it. How do you train that person's mindset, or where would you point them in your book to kind of get them back on track for whatever that thing is? So for me, it's jumping into writing my own book, right? Every time I have someone on the show, they're like, yeah, because I wrote a book. And I'm always like, Jay's going to be like, so when you going to write your book, right?
Still am. I'm still am.
So I have my own insecurities about writing the book, right? So I'm going to be your muse for a second. So what would you tell me, or where would you point me at into your book to help me kind of get my mind into a different mindset about that?
So I'm not even going to go into the book. I'm going to say the first three things you said when you were talking about, you're like, my fears are that it's not going to work. Nobody's going to want it. And I would say, absolutely, you're correct. So that's because you've got to change them. You cannot, like, literally it has to be like a life or death thing with the things that come out of your mouth. And they start here, like Indy Ivory says, the words that come out of your mouth, you're the first to hear. So they started here, right? So stop that. Number one, I would just like literally, and just stop. Just think about, what do you have to lose? Like, you're on this planet for a reason. So everything that you're being guided to, everything that you're being attracted to is all a part of the journey. That's why I know, like, when you mentioned, like, do you want to talk about the singles rant? I'm like, yes, because it's all a part of this journey. So if you're getting that, I want to write a book, that's because that's not by chance. Nothing's happening by chance. And then every time you come on the show, it's somebody else is like that thing. Like, you're gonna get these whispers, and then you're gonna get a thud, and it's gonna pop you upside the head. Like, that's what happened to me. It was like, oh, all right, I gotta do something. I have to move. So first, I would just say change your mindset. There's tons of affirmations in the book. There's a specific section called For Your Purpose, Finding Your Purpose. So that would be the greatest section I would direct you to. But I would 100% say, change your mind about yourself. Change your mind about yourself. You already know you can do it. You look at you now, like you can do anything. So, and another thing, I talked to one of my little cousins the other day, and she was just kind of asking for some direction. It's like, nobody's going to believe you if you don't. So that's number one.
Well, I appreciate that, but I know there's someone else out there that's feeling in the same space I am. That's why I wanted to use myself as an example.
Yeah.
Because even with this, Lauren Rei Live, there's still other work to do, right? So it has to be able to expand in another way. So I appreciate that. What I didn't ask you is, I should have asked you in the beginning, how did you come up with the name CHOQLIT? I know it sounds very easy, but I see that it's spelled differently as well. So talk about that.
I can't take credit. My significant other, he was like, call it chocolate. And I was like, oh yes, like that's it. So I can't even, I'm not even gonna sit up here and be like, well, I was drinking tea and no,
he just dropped the gin and left.
Yeah, like he gave it to me.
Good.
Yeah. And I'm like, and actually in the beginning I was like, all right, I'll write that down on my list of things. And then I look back and I'm like, that's fire. Like, that name is it, So, I can't take credit for that.
Did you, how did you come up with the spelling of it? Or you just want to do something different?
That was him too. But you know what? God gives you the partner that you need.
It's a team. It's a team.
You
had the idea. He comes in with the names.
It was like I said, all a part of your journey. You have to. Nothing happens by coincidence. Nothing happens by chance. And when you know and you believe that everything you attract is for your good, even that. Even somebody walked, my significant other suggesting that to me or whatever it is, you have to truly walk in that every day. Like, even if my day didn't go the way it was supposed to go, even if I just lost out on some money, I can always come back to, all right, like, this was supposed to teach me something. Sometimes it's really hard to figure that out. Like, okay, God, like, bruh, like, what was that? I mean, you might not know today. You might not ever know, but you just have to have that inner trust that this is by design. Everything that's happening is by design. And when you're in the spirit of attracting abundance, like, if it might look like it went wrong, but it's it's got to be contributing to my good, because that's the only life I know how to live. Everything contributes to my good.
So other than the fact that we know you're beautiful, so we know you physically attractive, your significant other, do you believe that you changed your mindset about finding a partner that would complement you in your new journey that you were going on?
Absolutely. I was already on this journey, right? So I will be honest with you, and I tell everybody this, and I will send it to you. I started saying an affirmation at the beginning of the pandemic every night at the same time, and my significant other came into my life like a month later. And I would mean like everything in that affirmation, legit, word for word. I tell people all the time.
Wait. This was last year?
Yes.
During the
pandemic.
You
gotta get in a pandemic, girl. You want to send that over just in case.
And a pandemic.
Well, I feel like
this could Lauren.
No, I feel like this could be a separate episode, because I'm like, how did y'all find love in a pandemic?
because God, like, I don't care about. Listen, be safe, wear your mask, wash your hands. But how do I say this? Like, things that are happening around us, it's all going to happen with or without you being here, right? So my mindset is not situational or circumstantial. Whatever you want, you can have, period. I don't care if it's a pandemic or what's going on, you can have it.
I was more so like, specifically, how did y'all do it? Did y'all meet on a website?
No.
Zoom?
Yeah, no. I knew this person before, but not in that way. So I'll say that. But
okay.
Yeah. But I mean, everything we gotta do on the phones until you can safely see whoever it is. But yeah, so yeah.
Is this somebody you friend zone?
What? What you just say?
No.
She said this is somebody I didn't see in that light. I was like, is this somebody you friend zone?
No, I didn't see in that light. It just, there was no opportunity. It was divine timing, right? Yeah, divine timing. So things happen when they're supposed to happen. So
okay.
But enough about that.
Is that affirmation in the book for the ladies in the journal?
Yes, it's in the book. It is in the book. I have sent it to so many. So part of it I got from another book, and then I was like, wait, I gotta make this mine. Like I gotta get some stuff that's not in here. So I changed it, and now I send it. Literally, it's in my notes because I talk about it so much, and I'm like,
girl, go ahead. Just just go ahead, just send that thing right on over, and I'll just.
But that's anything though. Like, but before I did that, before I decided to do that, I decided in my mind that how I wanted my life to look, how I wanted. And in the affirmation too, it wasn't just about the partner. It was about who I wanted to be when I met this person, when this person came into my life, the kind of partner I wanted to be, the kind of person I want to be. So it wasn't just about love and finding that other person. It's about you. It's always about you, because you attract what you are. So I have to say that. I got to make sure I say that. But that's for anything.
That's a really, really dope line you just said.
What?
You attract what you are. I love that.
Yeah, it's true. I think, and I always go back and forth, because I think you attract what you are or what you need. Because sometimes, and then if you really get deep, that's what you are too. But I won't. I'll come back up. But
I think seriously, that's
you get it. Thank you.
That's real.
Because it's like that person.
Especially the first part, you attract what you are. Like, I totally believe that broken people attract broken people.
I've been there.
Listen,
you know, it's one of those things where you know someone and they're like, all I do is date trash. I'm like, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that person and be like, well, what about you? But you're kind of trying to make a path for them to figure it out. Like, there's a common denominator.
Let me tell you, there's some on this journey. It's not all peaches and cream. It's some ugly stuff you're gonna notice about yourself. It's
absolutely.
And you know that like anybody that's been on the journey of self-transformation and transforming your mind, you're gonna be like, oh, that's why he left me. Okay, I would have left me too. Like, you know what I mean? You're gonna have those. Oh, that's why she's not talking to me no more. Okay, I get it. I was not
be okay with seeing that. And that's the you have to be accepting of the fact that. Oh, I'm trash. You know what I'm trying to say?
I need help. I need help in a lot of areas.
I need help in a lot of areas. That's why for me, therapy was so crucial at a point in my life, because I thought it was, well, it's not fair because that person did this and that person did that, and the the ugly truth of therapy was like, but what are you doing? Who are you? And what are these broken pieces of you that you haven't like fixed? And I got that line from my therapist. You are what you attract. So until you can kind of like get you together, you're going to just continue to be a magnet of the same thing that you are. And it's not an easy pill to swallow, because in turn, you really have to change who you are. So it's
or you're going to just keep learning that lesson over and over, or not learning it, I guess. Yeah. So
this has been amazing, but I want to give you the opportunity to tell people how they can join CHOQLIT, and also where they can get the book. But first, tell us how they can actually join. And when you do join, what else do you get other than the newsletter, the weekly newsletter?
Sure. So how you join, I think I'm trying to make it easy for people. If you go to my Instagram, Lana.LANADOT, and just click the link in my bio and hit join CHOQLIT, that's probably the easiest way. Or you can go to our website, www.choqlit.com, that's CHOQLIT, and hit join CHOQLIT. That's another way you can do it. Okay, cool. You can do it that way. It's in, we also have our page for CHOQLIT. It's We Are CHOQLIT, so We Are CHOQLIT. So that's another way you can join. As it stands now, the free weekly newsletter and the merch offers, that's what you'll get through that's what we're offering through CHOQLIT right now. Phase 2, which will be rolling out soon, which I'm super excited about, will be it's a big endeavor, but much more interactive, I'll say. You'll see more of the content that people are used to seeing from me in terms of like digital content, all geared towards wealth building. So series, and I won't say too much, but it'll be kind of like the next step up. But right now it's just free information and trying to teach people to value information over everything, because information, again, is the real currency. So you can support, you can get our cool chocolate and wealthy hoodies, or our We Want It All Black line on our website, choqlit.com. And join. It's free information. Like, don't turn away free information. So
we love it. We love it.
That's so dope.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And I appreciate anyone who, like, Issa Rae says, I'm rooting for everyone Black. I appreciate anyone who is on that path as well.
Always.
And I appreciate what you're doing, because information is wealth. You know what I mean? And if it's free information, sometimes people are like, well, if it's free, it can't be everything that I need, right? It has to be a subscription added on to it, or a cost to it. So I appreciate you.
Well, that's coming. But you better get in here while it's.
But I'm sure it'll have some other perks and benefits that come with that subscription. Listen, I get it. We all gotta, we got bills to pay out here. So my girl just quit her job. So we
gotta keep the wealth in our community. You heard Master P, and if you didn't, go watch it.
Listen, I feel you. So we're gonna make sure that everyone gets that information, and you guys will be able to find that information in the information box on our YouTube page when this show comes out. Also, we'll put a flash up there on this as well, so you can see it there as well. But once again, just tell everybody where they can follow you on Instagram, on either your personal or your CHOQLIT. We'll put both up.
Cool. So my personal page is Lana.LANADOT, and then CHOQLIT's page is We Are CHOQLIT, and that's We Are CHOQLIT. Again, I gotta say, go get the book. It's on pre-order right now, and you can the links in all the bios, all of the bios.
Will it only be ebook?
It's ebook, yeah. I think maybe down the line I may do a physical, but for now, ebook.
Nice, cool. All right, everybody. So there you have it. Lana Adams. She is the founder and the creator of CHOQLIT, and we cannot wait to see more from you. Please go check out her ebook. Go get it right now. It's on pre-order. Make sure you check out the merch, which is dope. I love your hoodie. And we can't wait to see what you got coming up next for CHOQLIT. We're really going to be in tune to it. Let us know here first so we can let everybody know.
Of course I will. Thank y'all for this opportunity. This is fun. I don't want to hang up.
Listen, you could come back and we can talk about all the other stuff, like the laws of attraction. I also definitely want to talk to you about why, our people, our Black and brown people, feel bad about wanting things and having nice things. I would love to have that conversation.
Let's do it.
Oh man, I have so many theories, but yeah, let's do it. I'm down.
We can definitely do it. I think that would definitely be something that people would tune into, because you would be surprised how much we actually feel bad about those things.
It's a lie, y'all. It's all a lie.
It's all an illusion.
It's all a lie.
That's what they want us to think, right?
Yes. No, but really. And forget they. Just stop. Stop thinking it. You deserve everything. You deserve to live abundantly.
So before we get into a whole nother hour of that, we will have you back with for that. I would love to have that with maybe some other financial advisors as well, so we can talk about that for everyone. But until then, everybody, make sure you are following the Lauren Rei Live Show on Instagram and all social media platforms. Also, make sure you are following waterice.com. We are your scoops of everything Philly. We have a lot of good stuff coming up. Can't wait for you guys to see it. Jay, did I miss anything?
Nope. Stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff coming out.
You guys, we have another episode of Lauren Rei.
We're living abundantly.
We're living abundantly.
Hey.
All right, guys, and as you always know how we close out this show, not all superheroes wear capes, but sometimes they wear headphones.
They wear headphones.
See you guys. Have a good day.